Breaking news. Numerous Trump aides are stepping aside after being implicated in the Ukraine crisis. It's clear to everyone at this point that the entire administration was pushing Ukraine to investigate Biden as a precondition for U.S. aid and for this meeting with Trump that you're seeing on screen right now. From diplomats on the ground to the Energy Secretary Rick Perry to the Vice President and everybody in between, including this president, everybody was looking to start an investigation in Ukraine. But of course, the only evidence they will ever have is this confession on video from Biden bragging about the pay-to-play of $1 billion in exchange for the prosecutor's head. There's no doubt that the very nature of the crime of corruption is solely an understanding between two parties. There's hardly ever any proof. There's no contract, no paper trail left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, the video guy. It's always the video guy. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into what this Ukraine crisis is really about, the nitty-gritty, who's who in this story. And we've got a lot of names coming out with the text messages from the diplomat Kurt Volker, and that's something that we're going to have to get into. But it took a lot of work to get to this picture right here. It took a lot of work from diplomats on the ground, from the vice president, from various other key figures that are no longer here, Bolton and the like. And we're going to get into what it took for this to transpire and what could they possibly hope to achieve. Now, in this picture, it looks like, the president of Ukraine, wants to get paid. He's giving him the puppy dog eye look, right? And this, of course, was before the big meeting, ladies and gentlemen. But at this meeting here with the vice president, you can see Rick Perry is there, Bolton is there. You've got some other diplomats there as well. This story gets really thick. Now, the Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, is resigning, according to reports. This is after Kurt Volker. All of this is directly tied to the Ukraine crisis. We're getting reports that Trump blames Energy Secretary Rick Perry, so they're looking for the scapegoat, for the fall guy. They're going to try and make it look like it was everybody but them at this stage. And of course, if you look at the profiles of the various people involved, like Kurt Volker, and this is Kurt Volker. Well, hold on. Let's see if we can get a better screenshot of this, if we can. So this is Kurt Volker. You've probably heard a lot of talk about this guy. He basically showed up in Congress, what was it, yesterday, the other day, and the day before yesterday, and basically let out everything, all of the dirty laundry. He had the text messages, all of the implicating, damning evidence. Of course, he's from the McCain Institute as well as the Atlantic Council. And anytime you see the Atlantic Council, that's like the Trilateral Commission, that's like the Bilderberg Group and all of that stuff. You got another player, William Taylor. This guy was the acting ambassador to Ukraine. And of course, he's got liberal New World Order written all over him. And I'm pretty sure we've got some audio to that extent. We could probably find it for you if we really had to. Why not? We're here. Let's play a little audio.
International order is how we have become prosperous. We, the West, Europe, United States, Japan, very good to us. This liberal international order is how we have become prosperous.
So all of these people are shady, to say the least. Then you've got this guy, Sondland, who is the ambassador to the EU. Now, he bought his way in, and he's got the profile of a typical cult member as well. So, of course, this could easily be spun into more traitors within the ranks that were secretly plotting against the president. But we saw the push hard in the transcript that was released by the White House that, they wanted this investigation to happen. And so we're seeing this across the board. Everybody is implicated. And if this actually goes to any sort of trial, it would look like, everybody's going down. Nancy Pelosi could very well be the next president after all of this settles, ladies and gentlemen, to say the least. Let's see if we can get back to the main story. Of course, it looks like Trump was trying to order the Ukrainians to investigate Biden, knowing that there would be no evidence in this corruption trial or case except for what was confessed to on video. We could play that video as well, but I'm sure you've seen it. And so the only thing that they could really be looking to do is to start some kind of Operation Mockingbird. The Ukrainians would hold a press conference. They would say they are now investigating, Joe Biden. And then all of the media in the U.S. could go wild with the corruption scandal. But it doesn't look like Biden is the lead candidate anymore. And it doesn't seem like they would really need this to beat Biden in a debate or at all. It almost looks like, they want to self-destruct. They want to implode, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, with the creepy Biden footage, you don't need any additional evidence. You could just play these videos over and over again and just ask the American people, do you want this to be your next president, ladies and gentlemen? And there is no doubt that Biden is corrupt, that, pay to play occurred. And, it is what it is out there. But they've refused to seriously investigate or prosecute any of these criminals, whether it be, creepy Biden or Hillary Clinton or Obama is ISIS and the like. Instead, they would just rather, basically shoot themselves in the foot over and over again so that we can just talk about this instead of, things that are more important, like the Epstein case. Of course, this is the new story to replace the Epstein case permanently. The Iran situation didn't work, so it's come to this, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, as long as we're talking about these kind of things, we're certainly not talking about, the eugenics programs. We're not talking about the chemtrails. We're not talking about the vaccines. We're not talking about the fluoride. We're not talking, about the pesticides and the like. And while that might seem all real cliche, it's shaving years off of everybody's life. And we didn't even mention the death towers and the like. This is a major problem, as well as, the Skynet that's coming. They're going to be rolling out the Terminators. They're going to be rolling out the cyborgs. They're going to be rolling out, basically the Matrix out there. And people are, asking themselves, who is the better candidate out there? None of them are really, promising to stop the Skynet except Elizabeth Warren. And perhaps that's exactly what we need, ladies and gentlemen, is somebody like that to win the election, to motivate all of the conservatives out there to fight for something. If we had 1/10 of, basically the effort that the libtards are putting into their struggles, you see all the anarchists out there, you see all of the Antifa out there, if we had 1/10 of, the energy of that, we could be doing quite a bit of headway. But instead, we're just, letting them continue with the bread and circus and letting them hypnotize you with what's going on. So now that we've introduced some of the players out there, we kind of want to look into what was released in the Volcker text real quickly. We're not going to bore you with a whole lot of black and white, but it is rather interesting. It shows the timeline, who's involved. We got names and the like, but all throughout here you can see that the Ukrainian camp is basically begging for a meeting with the president, and all throughout, it's like, you know, they're talking about the investigation. This seems to be real common vernacular with everyone associated with this. And we see this, they will help with the investigation and the like. And I'm sure if we start looking at, you know, for the word investigation in this document, we see it numerous times. We see Kurt Volker as a name, Gordon Sondland as a name. We've got Tim Morrison, which is another interesting story. But all of these people are basically pushing, you know, the World War III. They're pushing the war with Russia because it actually helps, you know, the big oil and gas situation, right? The idea with the war in Ukraine for the time being is to destabilize, you know, the pipeline going into, you know, Europe from Russia. And so as long as there's a war on the Eastern Front, then gas really can't come in. And that really, you know, works wonders for our fracking industry. And so you can just imagine the kickbacks that are just flying around behind the scenes. You know, they're just filling their pockets full of cash, and, you know, all the rest of it is part of the cover story, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the investigation, you know, basically shooting themselves in the foot and the like. You know, they don't care what you think, because at the end of the day, they're really getting paid. It's a big club, and we're not in it, ladies and gentlemen, to say the least. What else do we got here in this document? If we can come back to that for the video guy. Cue in the video guy here. But we've got numerous exchanges between the ambassadors of Ukraine and America. Various figures, Gordon Sondland, Kurt Volker. I know we've got some other names out here. But basically, it's all building up to a meeting with the president and the release of the aid. Now, obviously, you know, this aid is going to make, you know, all of the Ukrainian officials rich as well, because they're going to be skimming off of the top. And that's why, you know, you've got these pictures where, you know, before he meets with the president, he's like, you know, please pick me, you know, we want to get paid. And, you know, we know that corruption is like the #1 issue out there. We're just trying to find that image again. I don't think it's going to show up here ever. Ladies and gentlemen, it's gone. There it is. That's the one. And in any case, there's something to be said about this ambassador Volker, which was way too eager to basically, you know, shed the messages to Congress and the like. Seems like he's got some serious links to, you know, some money-making transactions that he benefited from as a result of this aid as well. So I think we see corruption on every level. See if we can get back to these players, because right now they're kind of a mystery as far as you know, how they ended up where they are. See if we can get back to these guys. So this is Kurt Volker again, McCain Institute, Atlantic Council, hardcore, you know, deep state New World Order, pushing the World War III, getting paid on the side, you know, with these deals that are coming in, for sure. So we got this guy. Now this guy, he's preaching the liberal New World Order, so, you know, he's got that libtard professor look to him.
Yeah.
You know. So there's William Taylor. These are all, for the most part, you know, long-standing players. And what else we got, ladies and gentlemen? What happened to this guy? No. They're all on drugs, it looks like. Look at her. I mean, she's definitely on something. But, you know, this guy's got that typical cult member look to him. You know, usually like the, you know, the pasty white shaved head kind of look is Luciferian in nature. But he basically was $1 million donor to the Trump campaign, got the ambassadorship to the EU, and you should see all the pictures. I mean, he's just whining and dining, you know, out there. But he had a huge role to play in this, and undoubtedly, he's getting paid. He's using his position as leverage for deals, contacts, and the like. So it won't be long before all of these people go down. But it seems like it wasn't a compartmentalized operation at all. It seems like everybody was trying to do the president's bidding here, and I think that's really where it's going to get ugly for this administration. And probably rightfully so. I mean, they've basically sold out conservatives on numerous issues. Here's the video of Biden. There was the video of Biden, we should say, admitting to the crime. That's all the evidence they really needed. Why they would go to this extent is really, beyond anyone's guess, because certainly they weren't going to find any real evidence, and so they would have had to have presented fake evidence in this case. And given that they were using, the personal attorney Giuliani, it just looks really bad. But this administration has looked bad for quite some time with their picks: Acosta, Giuliani, 9/11, all of that stuff, New World Order kind of stuff. And the fact that, they've basically sold us out on, geoengineering, vaccines, pesticides, fracking, all of that frack water, ends up back in the tap, basically. And on numerous other things, the 5G and the like, it's just pretty much nonstop. They didn't lock up Hillary. They didn't investigate Seth Rich. They locked up Julian Assange, of all people, instead. And they're, cooking the books and doing these shady deals. And, they think everybody's stupid out there, that they're just going to play partisan politics. You know what I mean? And just kind of ignore the facts. And I think some people will. But I think a lot of people, for a lot of people, this really confirmed what they were suspecting when it comes to, Trump. And as much as you like him or hate him, the facts don't change. I mean, this is a lifelong Democrat from New York, friends with Hillary and Epstein and the like. And it just wasn't going to get better from there. We've always said hope for the best, expect the worst. Obviously better than Hillary. And it's probably better to, prevent a dynasty of this nature, because it's really only going to be worse. What's the second, second in line after Trump? Is it 666 Fifth Avenue over there? It's only going to get worse. And so it's important that we don't just write a blank check for this administration and allow them to just do whatever they're going to do, because they're obviously not interested in stopping the eugenics program or arresting the criminals or making the world a better place. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And so I think that's why we've been focusing on this as much as we have. We've probably got some other news. I'm sure we do. Let's see. Let's just kind of cruise through here. What is this? UK sends Iran $1.6 billion. He thought the Obama deal was bad. Let's see. What else we got here? I'm sure we got some other things in the news. This was kind of interesting. It looks like mortuary technicians were basically harvesting body parts to eat, like at a butcher shop, basically. And who's going to miss the organs, right? And so there's some pretty fascinating things. Girls are skipping school to avoid gender-neutral toilets, no doubt. Seems like there's more censorship out there. What else we got? We got the Dark Matrix video from yesterday. Everybody should check that out. And be sure to check out our website, stfnreport.com. And be sure not to get dosed by the 5G death towers more than you have to, or the other, gadgets that you might have at home, routers, tablets, the Wi-Fi, etc. And so you'll want to get an EMF 390. You can check all of that out on stfnreport.com. But if you don't have one, you should really get one. It'll open your eyes, to say the least, as far as what you're actually getting dosed with. What's this? Seems like Trump isn't the only one that was soliciting foreign help for, for an advantage during the election. I think that, whatever you can grab on your opponent is fair game as long as it's, real, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. UK court rules biblical belief in two sexes is incompatible with human dignity. We're seeing quite a bit of, this Sodom and Gomorrah out there. And, of course, they want to ban the Bible. And numerous countries are, coming out in force, like the UK, trying to ban the Bible, trying to ban, everything and anything that's natural and common sense. And they've declared themselves, enemies of Christianity. I think that speaks above all else, ladies and gentlemen. I'd rather cling to my Bible than, watch two men plowing each other, to say the least. I know we've got some other news that we wanted to cover. Perhaps it's hiding out here. We'll get it to you eventually, ladies and gentlemen. Just a couple more stories that we wanted to mention. Autistic teens in the UK are being locked up in mental health hospitals, and they're being fed through, the little doors in the door, whatever you want to call that. Neighbor who delivered testimony against Amber Geiger is shot dead, so that might be a reprisal. Seems like there's a massive protest, not a yellow vest protest in Paris today, but a massive protest against the artificial insemination of, for the Sodom and Gomorrah cause. And the big worry here is that, two men will, basically IVF some kind of surrogate and perhaps give birth to a clone. Seems like they're trying to legalize that in France, and people are out there pushing back. Let's say no to Sodom and Gomorrah clones out there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll leave it there for this broadcast. Check us out, stfnreport.com, and you'll have all the links there. Never miss a show on our website. And that's pretty much it. Until the next time. If you're listening to this, look at this guy. Look at that guy. And obviously they're pushing the transhumanism, the cyborgs, the chips. Get your beast chip. Get your mark of the beast today. The dude doesn't even try to hide it. He's got the devil horns and everything. That's exactly what it is out there. It's not about politics. It's about religion. It is the pages of the Bible playing out before your very eyes. Stop it before it's too late. Stop it before you get plugged into the matrix. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.